Hello. I must say, for an embarrassing amount of time, I've been wanting to do this. And by this, I mean make an art channel. I am just going to draw on a sketchbook, the cover of it, decorate it while I talk about dealing with art block. So I have not been doing art for almost 2 years until this moment, and it is because I have been so incredibly art blocked. I have had no desire to make art or even paint anything. I just can't get myself to do it. And I finally was able to kind of get the motivation to make art now that I have actually wanted to start making a YouTube channel. But I still, even as I make this is actually my second time trying to decorate this sketchbook. I actually painted over it because I did not like what I first made, and I just couldn't stand it, so I painted over it, and now I'm just doodling on it basically. I have the fear of making bad art. I always think my art is bad. I think there's only one painting I've ever made that I don't think is bad, and I made it 2 years ago. And when people ask me, because I say like, yeah, I'm an artist, and they ask like if they could see things I've made, this is the only painting I show them because it is the only painting, it's the only picture that I have of my art. I have no other pictures of any of my art because I did not like any of them. And I have a really bad case of perfectionism, especially when I try to make art. I am constantly thinking about if what I'm doing is good, if it aggravates me almost constantly when I'm trying to make art. It gets to the point where it's not even fun to make art because I'm just getting frustrated with myself, thinking that what I'm making, I'm not doing a good enough job. It's not, something isn't right, this isn't right, my skills are just not good enough, that I shouldn't even be making art to begin with. And I don't feel like creating a lot of the time. Like, I might think about making art, but then it feels like it's a chore to get up and get a sketchbook or get a canvas and get paint out and start making art. It's incredibly difficult. And a lot of times I don't even know what to make. I have a hard time trying to pull from my imagination because I feel like I have nothing in my mind that I can create that's worth creating. There's a rare chance that I have an idea, but a lot of times I feel like I can't even get anything out of my head and onto paper. And when I look at for inspiration on Pinterest, it can be overwhelming because I see all of this really good art and I just feel incredibly like I am behind. I don't think that I can make art like these people, and if I do finally come and find at least one picture for reference that I can use for inspiration that sparks something that I can make, I just think that what I made is horrible compared to the reference that I have, that it does not compare, and I end up not liking what I made. It becomes extremely daunting to look at a blank page in a sketchbook or a blank canvas because there's just nothing in my mind that I can think of to make. And I have really high expectations of myself, and I don't feel like I meet them. I want to be like the other artists and have all this really cute art and whatnot. But when I make art, it doesn't feel like it's good. I feel like I've been making art for at least 6 years, and sometimes I feel like I'm just a beginner. My art's not worth looking at. It's not worth sharing. No one would like my art. It's not good at all. There's people who have better art. Why would they waste time on my art? And I just get so self-critical of myself that I lose any motivation to want to make art. It kills my creativity. And I don't feel like I can compare to other people's art. For a long time, I felt like I was trying to be like other artists and emulate their style, but it ended up not being the kind of art that I even liked making anyway. So then I would feel frustrated because I would think, well, this isn't even the kind of stuff I want to create. This doesn't really fill me with joy at all. And the only reason that I'm trying to emulate these people's art is because people like their art is good, and I think that if I can make art like them, people will think my art is good, but it's not. And it does not fix the problem at all, because I still think that what I made was bad. It leads to me having an extreme feeling of imposter syndrome. I don't even think my art is mine. Is my art mine? Is my art's just not good enough to be looked at? It's not good enough to be on social media. It's not good enough to people to like, or even down the line buy. I want to make an art shop at some point, but I honestly am lost at what I would make, and if people would even want to buy my art. I know a lot of it has to do with me not knowing what kind of style I like, which I kind of do, but I've been a little put back because of the fact that I do like making more than one type of art, I would say. Like in this video, I'm making a little abstract doodle kind of drawing, and I like making those. And I also enjoy making kind of cute things, cute little characters, animals, whatever. And I also like a little bit of weird, kind of dark, odd things as well. And I didn't think people would like the fact that I didn't stick with one thing, even though I could make them into one thing technically. And I enjoy making landscapes as well, and all of that seemed like too much to actually make a brand for my art. And I tried to just do one type of art, but then I always felt not satisfied because I was only making the one type of art that I thought people would like to see, and not make what I wanted to make and what I liked to make. And I also was conflicted as well, because for a while I knew that digital art was extremely popular, and I didn't think people would like traditional art anymore as much, because I enjoy painting a lot, and I didn't think people would like my stuff as much because it wasn't digital art. And for a while I thought I needed to learn how to be a digital artist, and I needed to be a digital artist to be an artist that was successful. I am still, currently in this video, I am still so blocked. I can feel it when I was making this art, which is why I decided to do this kind of art, because this, for me, requires way less thought behind it. And I've been trying to push myself to make art. even though I felt like this, and it's not been easy. It's been pretty difficult actually, and I've even tried getting myself to just even sketch in my sketchbook once a day, even if it's like half a page. And most days I can try and make at least one thing. A lot of what I make is not good and I don't like it. Sometimes I even give up because of how frustrated I feel when I'm trying to do my art. I've been trying to improve my skills in anatomy, and that is probably the most frustrating thing to draw for me. I do not like anatomy. I would like to be able to draw characters, but anatomy, I feel like my anatomy is so stiff and rigid and not good at all, and trying to draw it is just so frustrating. And I've been trying to get myself to do that. It has not been easy. I've drawn a few other things. It's everything in my sketchbook I would not deem worthy of being able to be looked at, because most of it is just pencil drawings, most of it is half finished, and most of it is just me trying to practice my anatomy skills, and the drawings are actually not very interesting to look at. But I do find that one of the most difficult things is usually just starting. So when I do actually start drawing, sometimes I feel the creativity just a little bit. I have enough energy to want to at least sketch one page of a sketchbook. I have also tried doing different prompts, like the prompt generators online or whatever, and they tell you what to draw. Those sometimes can help when I don't have ideas of what to draw. I don't know what I should draw. And I also draw shapes or blobs, and that can be helpful to kind of force yourself to find creativity by making the blobs into pictures using your imagination. I sometimes also redraw old art. This can be nice too, just to see how much you've improved over time. And then you don't really need to come up with an idea to draw. You already have the idea in front of you. Sometimes it's also good just to switch mediums. So if I'm art blocked from painting, then I'll draw, or I will use colored pencils or markers, or even what could be helpful is just doing something different, like hobby-wise. Like for me, I like crocheting, so I could crochet instead of paint or draw, or make something out of clay, something like that. Even playing video games, I feel like is a really nice creative outlet that can recharge your creativity. But overall, it's just a good reminder to give yourself grace and take it easy, because you're not always gonna feel like making art. You're not always gonna be in your element. And sometimes I think about what I would say to a friend who told me if they had art block. I wouldn't say that they weren't doing enough. I wouldn't say that their art is bad. I wouldn't tell them that they're not doing a good job. So I want to think about that and say those kind of things to myself instead of putting myself down. And even though not all my art I might not like, doesn't mean that it's not worth at least making. And if I feel like I'm getting too caught up in reference photos or looking at other people's art, and it's feeling like I'm just procrastinating because I feel like I can't think of something to make, or I'm overwhelmed by what I'm looking at, then I have to stop and take a break and just take a break from art in general, or I need to just stop and try and draw from my mind. Sometimes it's helpful to just start drawing without any intention of making anything. You could just start scribbling on paper, and that can help too. I try not to push myself too much when I feel like this. Try to not push myself to not feel like this either, because I don't find that very helpful either. I know that it comes and it goes, and even if I feel a little less motivated now, I will feel more motivated if I just keep going and give myself the time that I need. But I hope this was helpful to anyone who has been feeling like they've been art blocked or in a rut. And this is the final product of my drawing. I do not love this sketchbook very much, but I did find it very fun to make, so at least there is that. And at the end of the day, at least if you're having fun making art, that's what matters most. So I think I accomplished that with this sketchbook, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. I know it's not very best quality, but it is my first, and I will see you guys next week, hopefully. Thanks for watching.